Hello and welcome to Northgate Church's online service. Thank you to our amazing worship team, audio and visual team, for leading us in a time of worship just now. We love these times and we're seriously blessed to have you. I'm Jo.
I'm Richard and we're part of Northgate Church here in Chester in the UK.
And a really special welcome to you if you're new to us today. It's great to see you. If you'd like to find out more about Northgate Church or this Jesus we've been talking about and worshipping, check out our website, northgate.org.uk. And if you have any questions, please fill in the form on the website or drop us an email to church@northgate.org.uk. This morning is Community Sunday, a celebration of some of the ways God has opened doors for us to be able to support and engage with initiatives in and around Chester over the last year of lockdown. But first of all, Rich, tell us a little bit about what community is and what the Bible says about it.
Community comes in different forms, but can be broadly defined as a unified body of individuals with common interests living in a particular area. One of the headings in my Bible for a section of Romans 12 is Love in Action. Romans 12 verses 9 to 13 says that love must be sincere, that our motives should be pure, that we are serving not for our own benefit, but that we become an attractive community so that God might be glorified. There are many examples that we could look at within the life of Jesus. He devoted himself to doing the will of the Father and reaching out to the community and those in need. Wherever he went, people were drawn to him to hear firsthand what he had to say. Others were drawn to him because they believed that he could heal them, and others to see if he was the one that had been promised who would set them free. Let's take a look at one example. In John chapter 6, we see that a large crowd was following Jesus to hear what he had to say and see the miraculous signs he had performed. Jesus looks up at the crowd and his first thought is to meet their need. They were hungry and he knew it. For those that know me, I love to feed people. But seeing a crowd of 5,000, I'm not sure my first thought would have been to feed them. I would have probably sent them home to eat and asked them to come back later. However, Jesus didn't. He took what little could be found, 5 bread loaves and 2 small fish, and multiplied it so that everyone was well fed. This is sincere love in action. Jesus met the crowd's physical need, but also in doing so performed something miraculous, showing them about who God is. He didn't just perform a meaningless magic trick to impress them. So why did people come to see Jesus? Well, he was sincere. He showed he cared. He brought a clear message of hope to the people and also met the needs of those around him. He impacted lives and left them changed. This, to me, is what community is all about. Loving one another, honouring one another, sharing with those in need, and practicing hospitality. That is to say, having a hospitable heart where people feel genuinely loved and valued wherever and whoever they are. It's about showing someone actually cares.
Brilliant, thank you. So how can we be love in action? Today we're going to hear about just 3 of the initiatives that Northgate and its members have been able to collaborate with over the last year of lockdown to support our local community. There are just 3. These are just 3 though, but I know there are many more. It's not always about joining in with existing initiatives. It can be as simple as dropping daffodils off on your neighbour's doorstep, doing some shopping or cooking for someone who needs it. Let's hear about them now and then we'll be back afterwards to close in prayer.
Well, good morning. I'm standing outside the KidsBank in the Northgate studio, and this morning I'm just going to meet up with the team to find out what's been going on in these last few months. actually, there doesn't seem to be anyone here. I wonder where they are. Well, somebody has told me that they could be on the move, so let's go down to their new premises. So here they are at the new premises.
Here we are.
Shall we go in and you can tell us all about it?
Who would have known, just celebrating our second birthday, Kathy, that we'd be moving from the beautiful home we've been given at Northgate for the last 2 years. And here we are now preparing to be in our new workshop, which is already starting to be transformed. But it starts with a story, actually, doesn't it?
It does, an amazing testimony. Jenny.
So we were given a grant by the Bluecoat for a 3-year rental period, which was absolutely awesome. We were so thankful, weren't we, for that?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we just needed to know from God, so where are we going to spend that? Where are we meant to be? Where's our new home? And we'd found a place down on the business park. That didn't fit in terms of position, and it didn't fit in terms of finance either. But then we had a brief meeting one Friday afternoon, as often happens, with yourself, Kathy, and Joe, our lovely finance officer, and myself. And Joe said, has anyone thought about loves? And something sparked in me, one of those moments. You think, actually, Joe, I was thinking about loves the other day, but completely dismissed it because know that they're fully occupied as we thought. Kathy comes in and says, did somebody say loves? I was thinking about loves too. I was looking at it the other day. Well, that was enough for us. We thought we needed to actually examine it. So in brief, we popped over to Love's garage to catch up with Stuart Love here and said, have you got any space anywhere? But we're looking for lots of space. What are you doing with your garage these days? And he said, well, we've just been wondering, actually, what to do with that. Anyway, long story short, here we are for, at least for 5 years. Coming into, what was this like when we came in a month ago, Kathy?
Jenny, I remember you said to me, the first words you said to me were, vision. You've got to have some vision. But as soon as I saw it, you could just see that a pristine office block was not where KidsBank was meant to be. Mm-hmm. This is KidsBank. This is KidsBank, yeah.
Yeah, we just knew in our spirit, didn't we, that this
absolutely.
is where God was going to have us.
Yeah.
And the fact it actually wasn't far from our first home meant a lot as well, didn't it, actually?
It did, and it was a big thing as well for you and Joe, that connection, that previous connection. Joe had always wanted that we move somewhere where prayer had happened. And prayer had happened here,
That's
upstairs.
right. That's right.
And that just seemed right as well. It was another right, another tick.
It certainly was. And that previous relationship we had through the office block being here for a while from Northgate just meant, obviously, we'd already built that trust with Stuart. We weren't starting afresh, which worked from his end, and it certainly worked from ours, didn't it? Yeah. So, Kathy, just remind us, why do we need more space?
Why do we need more space? So, after 2 years, I think we have now helped over 1,400 children. And in the time since last March, the first lockdown, we have more than doubled the number of children that we are helping. But what I've noticed is that there is a greater demand for help for older children. Yeah. So we were 0 to 5, weren't we, Jenny? And we've slowly, as we've stolen space at Northgate, we've increased our age as well. But we can't steal any more space, and we can't increase our age there anymore. And we wanted a uniform bag and older children, and it all just came together. It all just came together. It's lovely, isn't it? Because it all just came together under the banner of loves. which is what it's all about and which is why we do it. So our plans are to increase our age range to 12 years old. We will have a maternity wear bank, we will have a uniform bank, and we will have a community room which will be free of charge, which the family intervention workers have already shown a huge interest in. Bless us, we've been blessed.
Absolutely, and we've known blessing, haven't we? Every day it's just been awesome, hasn't it? Yeah, and I guess as we move forward, it is just seeing what other relationships are going to develop through that. But I say that community room is really quite key, isn't it? And just the fact the money is coming together for this space. You know, we've launched a campaign, but to raise the money for all of this. But also the fact that, you know, we've had local businesses, well, right from the start of KidsBank, but those that are giving generously. So the signage, for one thing, you know, to move signage so it is quite clear that this is where KidsBank New Home is. We're talking a lot of money, and yet here we have a local firm that are donating all the signage to us. And that's been it. It's been just God's goodness, time and time again, hasn't it? Through the clients, through the professionals, through the donators, through the volunteers. I mean, we wouldn't be anywhere without them. And what a team you've got, Kathy.
I know, they are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. Everyone who volunteers at KidsBank has actually sewn into KidsBank. And that is why KidsBank is about heart. It has always been about heart. And the volunteers that come, their heart is in it. Their heart is in it. Oh, Jenny, it just blows me away. From 2 years ago, there were moments when I thought, I just can't do this. Well, actually, I can't do this. What was it we were saying the other day? A woman with a vision is literally just a woman with a vision. A woman with God and a vision can achieve anything. But a woman with God, a vision, and a team like we've got, man alive, there's going to be no stopping us.
Kathy Pettingale and Jenny McGrath run KidsBank Chester, operating in Chester and the surrounding areas. Kathy and Jenny believe that no parent should have to make choices between food or simply being warm, for instance. So they were inspired to start KidsBank as a way to help some of the families that are struggling with these daily dilemmas. KidsBank want to help relieve poverty in Chester and the surrounding area by providing good quality new and pre-owned baby items to families in need, whilst encouraging the recycling of children's clothing, equipment and toys. And they are able to do this free of charge thanks to generous donations by people just like you.
So Jenny, when we look at our project, there's a cost involved. You were a big influence in that. Tell me about that.
Well, once we put the figures together, we realised that it was going to cost probably about 10k, but in reality it was more than that, it was 15. We had a discussion on that, didn't we? And certainly I took some learning from experience with trustees at Northgate, where I've always been aware that there has been a faith element when it comes to finances. And we thought, yeah, we need that faith element too. But so here we are now, needing 15k, raised already 8.5k, and just standing in faith, knowing that the Lord will deliver for the rest, as he does, because we are standing for that. So yeah, that's where we're up to at the minute, isn't it, Kathy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, he's in the detail.
Indeed. So Kathy, at the moment, we're still standing in a building site, a long way to go. The next now proposed community room with plaster falling off the walls at the moment. But come on, what's it going to look like when we're done?
Jenny, I want everybody to see it now, because when they see the transformation that you and the decorators and that we're all going to play our part in, it's going to be carpeted. We're going to have all the racking along here, which will have all our plastic tubs with all our clothing in. Over this side, we're going to have the cots and the prams and the buggies. We're going to have a room with toiletries, nappies. Here, where you see a sink, that is going to be a kitchenette with seating for our volunteers, because I do let them stop for coffee now and then.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, yes. Yeah, it is going to be unrecognisable. It's going we're in the middle. We have a big boardroom table, which really is a heart. It's where we do our sorting, our talking, our relationship. This is where we do relationship with each other. We're going to have travel cots with bedding and things in, so we can just pick it up and pack it. Yes.
And roller doors, of course, very handy, aren't they?
Oh, yes. I brought Steve, our driver, in yesterday, and he was really excited not to have to lug everything up the little alley and into the car park. Just roll it up. Tables that were donated by Jenny Ogden's school will be along here, and we will have the referrals on them ready to go out. It's a real team thing, isn't it? It's
it is.
A real team thing.
Well, good morning. Today I'm sitting in a wonderful little, I'm not quite sure, an outside classroom at the Chester Bluecoat school. And I'm joined today with Matthew Hover, who's the new head of this school. It's great to meet up with you, Matt, and thank you for showing me around today.
Thank you for coming in.
But you've actually got quite an interesting story because, Matt, when did you arrive at this school?
Well, it was around about February last year that I think that the job became advertised. And at the time of it being advertised, I was incredibly excited because it was a really, really good opportunity for me personally and a school that I really wanted to come and work at. So had to go through the interview process of applying for the job, got the interview, and then had the interview on around about the 11th and 12th of March. The euphoria of getting the job. Still remember the conversation with the Chair of Governors as I was coming down my stairs at my house, and my wife's look on her face of absolute joy and shock as well, I suppose. So then within 1 week of an announcement from our Prime Minister to say that schools were going into lockdown, and you've got 2 days to try and plan for this and get everything sorted within my previous school. So the joy subsided quite quickly, and then the focus had to go back onto my previous school to make sure that things were absolutely sorted there for COVID and home learning. So yes, it was a bit of a roller coaster of emotions when I first came to be here. But
Baptism by fire.
Baptism by fire, but very much glad to be here. So then I started here in September. And everything was going swimmingly with that. We got all the children back in successfully and safely, which was fantastic. Little pockets of times where we've had to close year group bubbles. Well, positively, we've only had one positive case within the children here, which has been great. Still not been able to do all of the things that we really desperately want to be able to do here because of having to do things within the restrictions of COVID-19. And then thinking you're getting somewhere, and then another national lockdown came in January and with another 2 months away from school and having to develop the remote learning provision. So it has most certainly been a baptism of fire. I'm hoping for a little bit of normality as we move forward.
And Matt, do you live locally? You've made mention that you're of your wife. So do you have a family?
Yes, I live in Christleton. It's not my actual real story because I'm not actually from Chester originally. I'm from Dover originally, so I'm from Kent. I am Mr. Hover from Dover. That's how I introduce myself normally to the children. It's a great way to be able for the children to remember my name. So yes, I met my wife at teacher training, and then we moved to Oxford, but then moved back to Chester once we had family to be closer to my wife's family. So yes, okay. Very settled in Chester.
And how many pupils do you have at Chester Bluecoat?
We have just under 400 children within the school, so just under late 390s, and that includes our nursery provision as well. So okay. We're very fortunate to have a brand new nursery building with which was kindly funded by the diocese So, and that was built in October of last year. So again, another baptism of fire. We built a nursery within about a month of me being here.
And I wondered whether today, whether you could just outline your vision behind this whole forestry project.
The project's come about because one, I mean, I do have a passion for outdoor learning. That's my own personal passion, but also I feel that children at this moment in time need to be having an appreciation of the outdoors and the benefits of being outdoors, especially in a time where over the last few years with COVID, they haven't been able to get out and explore their environment as much as they possibly could do. So the project is based around a lot of learning that what you can get from being outdoors. A lot of the principles from forest school are about developing teamwork and developing resilience, but also learning about the natural environment in a very, very structured sort of setting. And these sorts of things I think would be of massive benefit to the children within Chester Bluecoat. From my time here, which has been very, very short, it's really clear that this is a very inclusive school which has children absolutely at the heart of it. It's a school of sanctuary. We welcome in children from all sorts of different backgrounds, and so that they can feel safe and secure within their environment. And you can get that definitely from being inside. But the outside for me is just a little bit more of an untapped resource. We are blessed with absolutely beautiful grounds, but we could actually develop that further in order to ensure that the children are getting the best sort of experiences within their education. And that's where the project is rooted, just to make sure that the children are getting these opportunities to learn from their environment.
Yeah, you've got quite a lot of space here and a lot of different areas that can be developed.
Absolutely. It's massive, to be honest. The school has got substantial grounds. We have, where we're sitting at the moment, substantial field area on two sort of levels, and we're actually sat in an outdoor classroom here, and behind there is a natural sort of like wild area. On the other side of the school there is also another area which has been utilised for growing before, but that's in need of some renovation as well. And then there are some further areas around the side of the school which has again some other outdoor areas as well. So we've earmarked some different places for different things, and that's in the long-term plan.
So this whole forestry project is quite a big one with different elements. So what are the principal elements, and what is needed to get this off the ground? So first and foremost, one of the things we need to do is to train some of our staff to be forest school practitioners, so that they have an acute understanding of what it is to teach forest school, because it's a very specific program of study, and you need the proper training to be able to do that. We've earmarked the different areas, as I've said. So we've earmarked the top of the field in the forest area for our forest school, and that is going to need to be dug back, so that there are some certain areas in there, things like fire pits, and areas where we can put in shelters. So that's going to need to be organised quite carefully. And how many trees are going into this area?
In that area, I'm not really sure exactly how many trees, but we have been very, very kindly, we've been donated some trees from the Woodland Trust. So the idea is we'll probably be planting about 400 trees in the local area, some in the forest area and some in the other areas as we go around the school as well. So next to the forest area there will be a gardening area. The garden will be fenced off, so that there'll be some raised beds for the children to be looking after. There will be a greenhouse made from recycled 2-litre bottles, and hopefully some
recycled 2-litre bottles.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I've done this before in a previous setting, and it's having the base, concrete base, and then using a wooden structure, ideally from recycled wood, but we can get wood relatively cheaply, but then using bamboo and then 2-litre bottles with the bottom of them cut off, and then positioning them on top of each other in order to make the walls of the greenhouse. And it really does work. Brilliant for greenhouse, but it's a great way of looking at recycling as well.
That's excellent.
And then within the garden area as well, we look at different areas for different sorts of habitats, so maybe a wetland area, and also a wildflower area to attract to bees and other wildlife. So the way in which we do that is we'd get some of the children involved in creating seed bombs, soil and different seeds, and then throwing them into an area so that they would scatter and then grow up into a nice little wildflower area.
Wow, I think the wetland area is just going to be behind us,
yes,
isn't it?
So it should be just behind us in there, and then there will be some nice little seating areas to go in there as well, so that the children can come in there and do some teaching and learning in there as well.
And I've heard mentioned something that's very dear to my heart. I've heard chickens.
Absolutely. So again, in this area at the top, we have earmarked a one section of this for some chickens. It is a firm belief of mine that children learn best from practical experience, and what better to do than to actually look after a living thing. So we would look to get some chickens and then get the children involved in the looking after and rearing of these chickens. But then obviously we'd need to make sure that we can look after them at weekends, but I've got lots of staff that have said that they'd like to be able to do that.
That is brilliant, fantastic. Earlier on we talked about the well-being of kids, that it isn't all about learning, and you've got quite a good take on this. Could you share a little bit about that?
I think there's a lot around at the moment, especially in the media, that is around the rhetoric of catch up on lost learning. I think it's very dangerous to be just specifically thinking about lost academic learning. A lot of the things that the children have lost over the last year or so has been the ability to socialise, the ability to get out and go out in the environment, sport, music, drama, the arts. All of these sorts of things do seem to be not necessarily in the forefront of everybody's thoughts, and by focusing in on the outdoors, I think there is a lot to be said about mental health and well-being from being outside. The children will be able to really have that appreciation of the outside, and actually the statistics would say that they would feel better by doing so. I know from personal experience that by doing sport and being outside and going walking and appreciating the outdoors, I actually feel a lot better from it, and giving those children the opportunities to do that is really, really important.
So being a Church of England school, how much do you see the outdoor projects having a spiritual element?
Absolutely. I think the different areas around the school can be really, really utilised for children to be reflective and to develop their spirituality. One area that I really want to develop on the other side of the school was the existing growing area, which is it's not looking great at the moment, but I would really like to be able to develop a peace garden, which is a sensory garden, but is also would be an area for the children to come and be reflective and to think about themselves and to think about their own spirituality and their own thoughts as well. So there's a big argument to say that actually by being outdoors and learning from the environment, that you do get that better sense of spirituality as well.
Just prior to us meeting this morning, we actually met a couple of weeks ago with a meeting of all quite a number of the Garden Quarter community leaders. And Matt, that's where I first met you, and you outlined your vision for the school and for the forestry project in particular. And as a result of that, we have just been able to gift from Northgate £2,000 to the school to start off the whole, to kickstart the forestry project, to train to our teachers in the forestry skills.
And we cannot thank you enough for this. It's going to mean so much to the school to be able to kickstart this project, and by being able to train two probably teaching assistants to become forest school practitioners, it just gives us the real building blocks to be able to make this sustainable for for the future generations of children at Chester Bluecoat. So it's going to make a massive difference to a lot of people, which we are really, really thankful for.
Excellent. Maybe it's the first of many collaborative projects.
I hope so. I hope so. I was really excited by the meeting that we had at Northgate Church. It was just before Easter. Lots of brilliant ideas from lots of local people. One that I stuck in my mind was the selling of fruit and veg on, I think it was on a bike, wasn't it?
That's right.
Going around, and I thought, what a fantastic idea. The garden quarter seems to be a rich and vibrant place to live and to work, and by getting everybody on board and getting everybody back working together, I think that's only going to be of benefit for the school and for the local area as well. So I'm quite excited by how we can work together over the coming months and the coming years.
Well, thank you very much, Matt, for our chat today. And we just look forward with anticipation of how things will develop and roll out, and probably starting over the summer.
We hope so, because we hope we've got some more funding available for the garden area, so it's something that we really want to push on with, and we've earmarked part of the summer holidays to be able to start building some of the garden area at the top as well. And over the next few months we will be identifying the members of staff that will be able to be trained to be forest school practitioners. So yes, we are going to be kickstarting this in the very near future, so very excited. I see Chester Bluecoat as becoming the absolute heart of the garden quarter community, where we can all engage with the school and work collaboratively together, and creating a real place for learning, both inside and out, which is a sanctuary for the children that come here over the years that they are there.
That's excellent. Thank you very much indeed.
No, thank you very much.
Good morning, church. It's really great to be here, and we just wanted to tell you a little bit about what's been going on once a week in the church for the whole of the past year. We have been working alongside Soul Kitchen and the council, and a few of the other churches and some of the independent restaurants in the city to provide food for all the people who were placed in temporary accommodation off the streets when COVID hit. Now, a lot of these people are placed in hotels which have no cooking facilities. Sometimes all they have is a kettle. And so Soul Kitchen began to organise hot meals every night for these people, and because we'd previously been part of the severe weather protocol, where we hosted some of the guests here and provided food, Helen, who organises the team, came straight to us to see if we'd be able to help. We've been so blessed with just an amazing team of probably about 15, something like that.
Overall, over the past year.
Volunteers from the church and from the wider community who've just helped us out once a week as we've started to provide these meals. And can you believe it's been a whole year?
I can't, it's just flown by.
Would you like to know how many meals we've actually cooked over the last 12 months?
Well, it's way over 1,000, I would think.
2,936,
Wow.
Including today. So
I know we've averaged somewhere in the region between 40 and 70 a week, which changes week by week, and it's been quite a challenge, I suppose, coming up with what we're going to do, what recipes we can use, something that's quick and easy, and something that will actually go out in these containers.
And still be warm when it gets there.
Exactly, yeah. But we have had a marvellous team of people both from the church and one or two from outside of our church. And it's great to have these volunteers. We wouldn't be able to do it without them.
no. It's been great. And one of the things that I've just really enjoyed about it is the fellowship that we've been able to have as well. You know, it's got us out of the house and you know, mixing with other people. But yeah, just so good to be able to serve these people and you know, be able to bless them with something that we've got and we can do.
Absolutely. Has all the food been provided by Soul Kitchen?
No, we have had a lot of donations. Soul Kitchen have received a lot of donations from wholesalers and supermarkets and restaurants. Right. But then as a church, we've been able to supplement with that and just support the work as well, which has been really good.
No advertising, but Aldi's done really well out of it.
Aldi has done very well out of it, absolutely.
I think another thing where God's been really good is because it changes week on week, that every time we serve up, you think, will this go and cover the 40 or 50 or 60 people that we're cooking for? And it's amazing. Every week there's just always the right amount.
Yeah, especially on those weeks where we get a last-minute call to say, can you do an extra 5?
Yeah. And also vegetarian.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. I really enjoyed doing it. And as you say, fellowship-wise, some of the people we know quite well, but you never get a chance to talk to them. No. And you're in there for 2.5, 3 hours cooking and talking and fellowshipping. And it's just wonderful how happy we've been as a team together. Really enjoyed it. And
the feedback that we get from Soul Kitchen is just that it's so appreciated. That it's valued by the people that we're serving so much. So it's just such a privilege to be able to do it, isn't it?
And I think 2 people that need a special mention are John and Viv, who've been delivering
every week, week on week. They pick up the bags and off they go to
it's amazing.
3 or 4 hotels a week usually. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it does.
So what's been your favourite that we've cooked then?
Well, I slipped in a few Slimming World recipes.
You did, yes.
And I thought the cola chicken...
That went down
very well.
Diet
cola chicken went down really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think because you're cooking for so many, it's difficult to make... to do things like steak and things like that. So it's always been something with... if it wasn't for tomatoes, I think we'd be lost.
Yeah. One pot cooking.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But bolognese, chicken. We've actually done roast chicken as well.
We did, didn't we? Yeah. It's so, particularly at the beginning, the staple was pasta bolognese, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do in bulk and it's quick and, you know, value for money.
Absolutely.
But obviously all the churches and all the restaurants were providing pasta bolognese. So feedback came back, didn't it? That we had, they were getting bolognese every night and they were getting a little bit sick of it. So we branched out a little bit at that point, didn't we? And the cola chicken was a definite favourite. Wasn't that amazing? If you've been encouraged or inspired to get involved at anything you've seen this morning, or indeed have been inspired by ideas of how you can be love in action where you are, but don't quite know where to start, please get in touch with me at joe@northgate.org.uk. I'd love to chat.
Let's pray. Thank you, Jesus, for the opportunities that you have given us, and for those that have been willing to get stuck in and show your love in action. Help us all, through your Holy Spirit, to see the opportunities, both big and small, to love people practically in our communities, to do the small acts of kindness to those people that we come into contact with on a regular basis, and to find those that we can partner with to see your name glorified. Amen. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you've been encouraged to be the change you want to see in our communities and see God glorified. Be blessed and have a great week.